Hello, my fire signs. Welcome to this collective, this beautiful, beautiful fire sign collective. It's nice to have you guys here sharing in your energy with me once again. I sat down to do readings today and I was going to do something else, but then as I started channeling, you know, Spirit just directed me towards doing the specific reading where I'm going to be looking at the situation that you find yourself in currently, where you're trying to get some sort of closure. I think that's the best word that I can use, where things don't make sense to you. You don't understand why things went the way that they did with this particular person. You obviously not together. You feel as though their behavior and the it just didn't make sense, and you don't understand what happened because this person never really told you. As I was channeling, Spirit just revealed to me that somebody lied. There are some of you in this collective who have had certain experience with your person, but their actions and the emotions that you picked up from them and what you felt with them didn't quite make sense, and it's really left you doubting yourself. So the reading that I'm doing is we're asking Spirit the question, what did your person lie about? What was it that they were not honest about that has left you feeling so confused about what had happened between you or what is actually going on? So that's what we're taking a look at, and I'm channeling for the air sign collective. So those of you who have air in your chart, perhaps your sun sign is an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, this reading is for you. To those of you who are new, you happen to just stumble upon this video, you just feel drawn to watching it, you haven't seen any of my videos before, I'm High Priestess Elif. I channel my messages. I read the cards. I know how to interpret them. I use them as an added tool to interpret the messages that I receive from Spirit. Everything that I say in my reading from the time I begin until I finish is me channeling. Nothing is of my own opinion or bias into any situation. I don't have an opinion. Spirit knows who's going to come here, what you need to hear, what messages you need to receive. And I am feeling like there is an energy of feeling emotionally burdened amongst the collective. And that is why Spirit wants me to do this message for you today. It's time to move forward. It's time to move forward, and whatever that may mean for you, it means different things for different people very often. But it is time to move forward, and you feel that. But you can't do it when you are still constantly finding yourself diving into the past and feeling more and more confused every time you do it. And so that is what this reading is about. I'm feeling a weight, an emotional weight. Many of you are feeling that currently, where you feel that it is time to move forward. But a part of you is still holding on to, or sort of stuck in what has been because you didn't receive the closure that you were hoping for. A lot of questions remained unanswered, and that is why we get stuck, because you cannot find the answers to your questions in somebody else, not in their behavior, not in what they do or do not do, not in what they may or may not say. It's never going to be your truth. You've got to find that within yourself. But hopefully this reading will help to steer you in that direction. Other people are only a part of our experience. They are not our experience. They're a part of our innate experience, what we've come here to remember, what we've come here to live, what we've come here to do, what we've come here to experience. But we are the experience. We the ultimate experience. You are the main character in this theatrical that is your life, you know? So that's the reading that I'm doing for you for the air signs. I always ask that you settle into your intuition and you ask your guides and keepers to guide you. It is so common for people to watch these readings, lots and lots of them, seeking for some sort of seeking validation or whatever it is you're seeking for. There's nothing that whatever it is you're seeking, there's nothing wrong with that. However, as I said before, the answers do not lie outside of you. The readings, they are pointers, but you still got to be willing to go there, to look there, to see it. They are pointers to the answer. They are not the answer. And a lot of people will, I've watched many readers and I see how some people comment, and not mine, fortunately. It's nice for me to see with those of you who have commented that you have a nice understanding of the message that it is that I'm trying to bring through to you. There is a clarity, and I really appreciate that. I appreciate my guides and keepers for making these messages clear, and your guides and keepers for helping you to know what is yours and what is not yours. People hear things, they take it as their own, it doesn't feel right, and then they want to argue with the reader. Why do people do that? If it's not your message, it's not your message. If it doesn't feel right, maybe it's not right, or maybe it's because you're wrestling with something inside of yourself. Remember, it's about you. Someone else cannot come and fix your life for you. Someone else cannot give you a pill and say, drink this and then you'll have everything that you want. No, you are the only person that can give yourself that. These are just pointers. It's like the GPS has many different routes, and the GPS is going to suggest the best possible route. You might not like it. You might feel that you knew a better route. The GPS gave you a calculated route. Whatever your basis is for your decision and for your belief, that is your basis for your belief. Same thing with readings. There are many routes. There are many different routes you can take to the same destination. What Spirit wants to do is to give you the easiest way, to give you the way that is going to serve you best. It's not necessarily, and you can find other ways, and then you can say, oh, that wasn't right. That's up to you. But remember, these are to serve you as pointers, to guide you in the direction that your soul is calling for, and in the way that is going to serve you best and serve your highest good, and bring you the most joy and ease. But you still have free will, and you get to make your own decisions. And what you focus on is always going to persist in your life. Okay, so I always ask that you settle into your intuition, say to yourself, ask your guides and keepers to guide you, so you can see and know intuitively, no, that's not my story, or that message is actually for me. This is a general reading. It's for the collective that I'm supposed to be bringing messages for. It's not just for one person. So you need to know how to take what resonates and what doesn't. And you also need to be in the energy vibration to receive messages that are meant to help to unlock and to break open aspects that have held you in bondage. But you got to be in the vicinity to receive that. So you can't be in your head. You've got to be open intuitively, spiritually, to receive the guidance from Spirit and from Source. So take a few deep breaths, settle into your intuition, and ask your guides and keepers to guide you, to help you to know the messages that are meant for you, and to recognize without a doubt what is not. Don't linger on it, don't ponder on it, let it go. There might be some truth spoken that you are not ready for. That's okay. Let it go. Take what you are ready for. Take small bite sizes and chew on what you can manage. You know, don't try and make things fit that don't. And don't try and take on more than you're ready to take on. It's an emotionally sensitive time for many of you. I can feel that. It feels as though old things that you thought you moved beyond and that you've grown beyond is resurfacing. It's leaving you feeling very, very vulnerable, and it's leaving you feeling sensitive, and many of you are feeling very, very alone. I'm feeling a deep sense of abandonment, and that is possibly why Spirit wants to bring you the answers to this specific question. You are still emotionally tied to somebody that you parted ways from. Let's get into your reading, guys. You've entered a sacred space. The archangels in the north, south, east, and west have their sacred flame burning. I start all of my readings with a meditation. I channel the collective, and I open the way for remote healing in the area of my subscribers' love lives, your relationship with yourself, and relationships in general. So click that subscribe button, become a part of the community, and allow yourself to welcome that healing energy, if it is what you want. If you find that the reading resonates, that the message resonates with you, don't forget to comment and to like. Thank you for supporting this channel. It makes it possible for other people who need to receive these messages at this time to have access to them as well. Many people are in an energy of doubt. I can feel it because of the emotional upheaval, things resurfacing. It's not resurfacing, guys. It's not that you didn't do it properly. It's not that you haven't progressed. You have. It's another layer. It brings you the opportunity to shed that layer and to move forward and to allow into your life what it is you want, and to know with clarity how you want to move forward. Sometimes we assume things about people, and it's not even true. That what we perceive to be the truth is based on old beliefs or ego constructs, perhaps trauma, perhaps fear. So we're going to take a good look at what's happening here. Let's start with this reading. For the air signs, I'm going to start the reading by looking into the basis of this person's energy, what it is that was very dominant in their energy during, the time that you were spending time together, that you were either together or in one another's energy, so that it can also give you an indication of whether or not this is actually your reading. Your person was very, very focused on closing cycles and coming towards you. That's what Spirit tells me. So if this person was not interested in doing that, or that wasn't something that they let you know it was an intention, then maybe this is not your person or the person that you are thinking about currently. I just picked up the energy. I don't know. I normally don't share this in my videos, but Spirit obviously wants me to share it. I just picked up the energy of a lovely young man. For some of you, or this could be very specifically for someone, you might have lost... I'm picking up the energy of a younger brother. Lovely young man. Everybody really liked him, enjoyed him, and his passing was a shock. But you have felt him around you, and he lets me know that you've been wondering, because for a while now you've not really picked up on his energy around you, and you've been wondering where he is. He wants you to know that he's still with you, and he still watches over you, and he watches what you do, and he's proud of you, and you're going to figure everything out. You're going to figure all of this out. Whatever it is that you are dealing with at the moment, whatever it is that you are working through, whatever it is that you are working towards, this is the message that he wants me to give you. I see a young man, not too tall, average height, light hair, short, but light hair, so maybe red or blonde hair. Yeah. Anyway, that's not what this reading's about. Obviously, someone here in this reading has a loved one that wants to bring them a message, or knows that they're struggling at the moment. If this is you, please know that, yeah, well, the message is for you. And they want to open communication, I suppose that's what it is. Anyway, so my air signs. Your person was very burdened by the magnitude of everything that they needed to sort of close off. And their intention was to do this, to do it properly, and then to come towards you. And they knew that that life was going to be uncomfortable until they get to that place where they could actually be with you in this way. For them, this was a long-term goal. And what Spirit is showing me is maybe that wasn't suitable for you. You didn't understand why they couldn't just do what they needed to do, and so that you guys could get on with your life together. Everything was very planned and calculated in your person's mind. They had it planned out and they wanted to do it right. So they were relying on their intellect with this. And you were more in your emotional center regarding this. And that is where the two of you clash. You were clashing because you didn't understand why they couldn't just cut out what it is they needed to cut out and move on. They struggled with this though. This was a war, a daily battle for them. I want to move forward. I feel like I'm not going anywhere with this. I'm working towards it. It's slow. I want to do things right, but I feel like I'm not going anywhere with this. It was a constant, they were constantly wrestling and battling within themselves, especially in their heads. The intention was to take the leap of faith, but they were afraid to do that. And they wanted to believe that at the right time, they would know the right time when they could take that leap of faith towards you, but they were still not sure that they would land on their feet. Not every time they checked in, like today, checking in, I'm not sure the time's right. But they knew that when the time is right, if they took this leap of faith, that they would land on their feet, everything would work out. But for them, the time was just never right. And you couldn't understand this. You saw this as them not really being invested. Okay, so obviously the intention here was right, but it didn't happen in the way that they had intended. Some things came up here. And that's the thing with cycles. When cycles need to be closed, or when they're supposed to be closed, if you don't do them, then you reactivate them because you're focusing on them. So they get reactivated over and over, and the problem becomes bigger. Instead of just cutting it off, it grows and grows and grows. And you obviously saw this, and they were not able to see that because they were stuck in this decision that they made that they were going to do things a certain way. Thank you, Spirit. Please tell me, what is it that this collective person lie to them about? What is it that they withheld? What is it that they were not honest about? Because they said one thing, but they obviously did. It looked like they did something else. Their intention was one thing, but the actions were different. It was something else. Okay, let's see. Let's see what Spirit wants to reveal to me, to these air signs, to this collective. Okay, how do you want me to pull? Okay, sorry. Spirit wants me to pull a little bit differently to the way I normally do. Okay, so. Okay, so. Okay, let me just see. This person pretended that they understood and they knew what they needed to do and that they had a hold on this thing and their life. But they didn't. They were struggling. They were struggling. They pretended to be okay and they pretended to be making progress when they felt like they were going backwards. They were struggling with this. They were looking towards you and the intention was to move towards you, but they were waiting for some, it was as if they were waiting for, okay. This person was waiting. They were waiting for you to do something to move this relationship forward. But what Spirit is saying is you were waiting for them to close cycles. And they were agreeing with you, but what they were actually hoping for was that you would just ignore those things that were undone or not yet closed, open space for them to move towards you and leave all of that behind. So what I'm seeing is you believed that they needed to close and complete it and then come towards you. They felt overwhelmed they didn't feel they were able to do that. They were hoping that with time, what you perceived to be these big things that needed to be closed off, that you would just open up the way to come in, to basically to take them in, to accept them into your life, just the way that things are, and moving out of the situation that those cycles would just no longer matter, that they would almost dissolve. It's like he was hoping these things would just dissolve, that they would just stop mattering after a while. They couldn't see how they could close it. If this is your message, this would resonate with you. You would understand what it is I'm saying, because what ended up happening is they wanted you to accept them as is. And hello, beautiful. You guys can't see that. It's a little spider. Spider's my animal, one of my animal totems. And so I'm just listening to what the spider has to say. Interesting things happening during your reading, guys. The energies are intense. You need to know, Spider comes to tell us and to remind us that we weave our own web. We decide, depending on where we place that web, what it is we want to catch in the web. We are in control of our own destiny. We can take the web apart and go and make a whole new one in a different area. You guys can't see it, maybe there. Yeah, it's right in front of me. You see on my forehead. You feel as though life is happening to you, but it's not. It's happening for you. You are creating your own web. You create your own reality. Life is about attraction. This is a law-based reality. There is no exertion. You don't push things away. You only attract them with your attention. Be mindful of that. You have what it takes to create, to move your life forward in the way that you want, and to decide what you want to do where this situation is concerned moving forward. There was a major misunderstanding here. Your person wanted to agree with you. It's like they wanted to please you, so they agreed with whatever you said. They believe that you are right, so they need to become what you say they need to be, but they felt burdened by this. They didn't feel like it was possible, and they didn't want to tell you that because they didn't want you to think that they didn't want to close it. They wanted to walk away from what was. They just felt that they wanted to allow it to become as insignificant as they wanted to be in their lives. But you wanted them to tackle it head on, to close it off. And whatever the situation is, only you would know. It wasn't that easy for them. They believed and they were hoping that there would be another way. But you were adamant about this. And so instead of those things that you felt, those cycles that you felt needed to be closed off, being closed off, and that coming to an end so they can come towards you, what happened was you made the judgment call. You made the judgment call because they were not dancing to the tune that you believed that they needed to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. You believed that was the right way at the time. Perhaps now you have more perspective or a slightly different perspective to it. And if you don't, that's also okay. But they were not honest with you. That was one thing they were not honest with you about. They believed that it would be better if it happened in a different way. And they were hoping that automatically it would happen in that way, but it didn't. This person gave you the impression that they were growing spiritually, that they were growing in their relationship with themselves, that they were growing in their confidence, that they were able to understand and tap into the energies in the universe and their life to move their life forward in the way that they want. But they were struggling. They didn't have the full understanding. This person was still trying to navigate from a place of fear and lack. They wanted to come across as confident with you. They wanted to come across as reassured. They wanted to come across as strong and clear-minded, but they were struggling. This person was trying to manipulate the situation with you to the point where you would eventually surrender what you believed. And they weren't doing that from a negative place or from a bad place. It's just a different perspective. It's what they were able to grasp and believe based on where they were at. They were hoping that you would catch up with that. And because of their fear and their feeling of inadequacy, they came across as cold and detached. Or possibly when you addressed this with them. But the truth is that this person was hiding very, very deep emotion when it comes to you. they've never wanted anything as much as they wanted this now. They felt that they needed to accept, to do what could have been when you put your foot down, when you let them know there's certain things you're not going to tolerate, that then they pulled away or they ghosted you, pretending to be cold, to be willing to cut this off. But inside here, this person is very, very soft and sensitive. They feel a tenderness towards you that they were hiding, they were not wanting to show. Especially towards the end here. And the other thing is, they really, even though they felt the way they felt the way they did about you, or they felt the way they do about you, whatever that the case may be, because I don't feel like these feelings are gone. I feel like this is still the way they feel. And they were looking towards being with you, and they wanted to eventually be with you and for things to work out between you. It's not something that they wanted, and this is why they didn't take the action they did. They were hoping it was something that you could grow towards in the future. What this person really wanted was to be single and not to have any responsibility towards anybody else emotionally in a relationship. But because of how they felt about you, they couldn't say this. They didn't know how to put it into words because they still wanted you in their life. And they knew you wanted to move forward with the relationship, but they still wanted time to heal and to be and to just focus on themselves and to build themselves financially, because this person was not happy with their financial state and they didn't feel that they wanted to move into a relationship until they were. They also felt that they needed space. They needed a little bit of space to just... Okay, so that's the thing, guys. They were not ready. They wanted time to work on themselves, to work on their finances, to focus on building career, business, whatever that may be. They were not ready for this. They felt, they were frightened by the passion and the intensity of the connection. It scared them. They felt as though things were moving way too fast, faster than they could cope with or deal with. And they tried to control it. But here's the thing. Love is not something you can control. That is when you make a mess of things. But that's just where they were. And they didn't have the courage to tell you that because they didn't want to lose you. They really loved how they felt when they were around you and the part of themselves that they got to experience with you, but they knew that they needed time to completely evolve and mature into that whole holistically, So that's the thing. They were not ready. They were really, really hoping that you would be in a place where this connection would have the patience and the unconditional love to allow it to grow slowly and to allow it to get there when it gets there, when both of you are completely ready. And the gap between you just kept growing. You were getting more and more ready every day, and they were more aware of how they are not yet ready. The idea of diving into such a strong, deep connection so quickly after they were still trying to close previous cycles. They just wanted to be with themselves for a while, really. And they wanted the space for that, and they were hoping that the relationship with you would give them the space to do that. But you obviously wanted different things. You didn't want that. You didn't have the patience for that. And so they felt that you lied to them, that you didn't really love them. That's why they feel as though you made a big deal about things because you couldn't have it your way, and that you were just another person that came into their life that wanted to control them and wanted them to dance to your tune, and you were not able to recognize what they needed, which was time and space, because they didn't have that for a long time. They were not able to just be with themselves for a long time. And they felt like you came and you made it about you. And that's why this person treated you the way they did in the end, which was not nice. It left you feeling hurt. but they felt betrayed and abandoned. And you might not know that that's how they felt. This person hid their feelings because even though their feelings were really intense, they were not fully ready yet. So the feelings were there, but mentally and emotionally they needed to mature, and financially they needed to grow, and there was a lot of things that they felt they just needed the space to be able to do, because their life had been about other people, relationships, toxic relationships, codependent relationships that they were not happy in for so long, and they wanted the relationship with you to be different, but towards the end it just started to look the same to them. So that's what they lied to you about. And you felt that. That's why you felt like they betrayed you, because you thought you were a team and you were moving in the same direction, and then you started feeling that gap. And that's the thing, there was the gap. And they were too afraid to acknowledge that the gap was there, because they didn't know how you would take it. You would take it personally. You would take it as though they were lying to you all along, and they didn't know. And then expressing feelings to you was also a scary thing, because expressing feelings to you would mean that I'm ready, and they didn't want to give you that impression either. So they kept a lot inside. They kept a lot of this inside. Now, this experience has driven them deeper into themselves and you deeper into yourself. And so there's obviously benefit regarding that. You get to decide what you do with this information, if it reigns true to you, how this experience helps you to better understand what happened, and to decide how you're going to allow it to serve you and to move you forward. You get to decide what you want to do with this and how best it can serve you. But yeah, do what is best for you. Do what is best for you. And I hope that this message helps. But I do feel, especially with the spider coming to visit, the message is very strong from Spirit that you might have felt as though you didn't have any control here, but you actually did. And there is a part of you that really was so hell-bent on things going the way that you felt they should, and turning out a certain way, that when they didn't go that way, you were not in a place where you could handle it as well as you possibly would have liked to. And they also learned that they should have just been honest, because that was the worst thing they did, because you knew that there was this gap and they were not being honest with you about it. So you were left to assume what you want to, and they treated you as though you were nothing towards the end. And I think this is the thing that bothers you the most, is that in the end, this connection is the one that got cut out. And it seemed as though they were never really serious or invested in you, and that's not the truth. They did that because they felt that that's what they needed to do to protect themselves. But this person was deeply emotionally connected to you, because they still are. I can feel it. This person hurt themselves and they blamed you for it, felt as though you did it to them, and you felt as though they did it to you. However this story, however it resonates with you, please comment, let me know. And if you're interested in a personal reading, because as I said, this is a general reading, and you feel your soul, or you feel intuitively your guides are guiding you or nudging you to get a personal reading, you're welcome to contact me. My email is in the description box below. I wish you well, and I hope that you can take from this and you can use them as the information as stepping stones to help move you forward, so that you can not feel so stuck, so that you can come unstuck or connect with what it is you were supposed to connect with in terms of lessons or understanding. Love and light to you all, and I will see you next time. Bye now.